Okay, so we are solving an inequality and a question that involves computing the square under functions. Okay, so given that y is equal to that, that's for b. So let's start with a first of all, solve the inequality. So we have 3x squared, and then that is less than 10x minus 3. So we can just write it in the standard form by leaving a 0 on the right. So we have 3x squared minus 10x plus 3 is less than 0. So just like we do for an equal sign for equations, we do the same for inequality. Whenever these cross the other side, the sign changes. Okay, so at this point, let's try to factorize what we have. It's easier to deal with them that way. Okay, of course, if you can't, you can also solve inequalities where you can't actually factorize. If you can't factorize, you can just find the zeros to this inequality, and then those values you're going to get, place them on the number line. For example, if you get a and b, so then to find the solutions, you can just try substituting this equation, the values between and outside. Whichever region agrees, that's the solution set. Okay, let's look at the product. The product becomes 3 times 3, 9. The sum is negative 10. What are two numbers that you can basically get to multiply? They give you 9, you had them give you negative 10. I believe it should be 1 and a 9. So they should all be negatives. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9. You add them, they give you negative 10. So we have 3x squared minus x minus 9x plus 3. So always substitute, let the factors represent the middle part. Okay? So therefore, let's factor out now. So we have x there being common, and then we can remain with 3x minus 1. And then there we have 3 being common. Let's factor out a negative 3, divide by 3, so that we can get a positive. So negative 3 gives us 3x there, and then there a minus 1, less than 0. At this point, we are confident. So we have x minus 3, and then just 3x minus 1. So x minus 3, and then 3x minus 1, less than 0. So we can now determine the zeros of the inequality there. So for that part, if you equate it to 0, x becomes 3. This part, if you equate it to 0, 3x is equal to 1, and then your x becomes 1 over 3. Right. So we have 1 over 3 and 3. Let's come up with a number line. So we have 1 over 3 somewhere here, and then you've got a 3. So let's try the middle part. So that's like, no, 1 over 3 is less than a 1. So 1 is somewhere between 1 over 3 and 3, right? So let's try a 1. If you try a 1 in that inequality we have, put a 1 there. In the first bracket you're going to get a negative. In the other bracket you're going to get a positive, so it gives you a negative. Now the question is a negative number less than 0? Yes, it is. So it means the middle part has agreed as a solution set. Let's try, let's of course disqualify the others. What if you get a 4? A 4 is greater than 3. If you put a 4 there, put a 4 there, 4 minus 3 gives us a positive. Whatever you're going to get there minus 1 is going to give you a positive. So positive times positive is a positive. A positive number is not less than 0, so it disqualifies that part. And then a number less than 1 over 3, 0 obviously is somewhere there. So if you try a 0, we'll remain with a negative and a negative. So give us a positive, which is not true. So therefore, the solution set is from 1 over 3 being less than our x, and then less than 3. So if you try numbers between 1 over 3 and 3, they are going to satisfy that inequality. Okay? So that basically, that should be true actually if you try even a 1, because a 1 is between 1 over 3 and 3. Let's try that inequality. If you put a 1, you're going to have 3 less than 10 minus 3, and then 3 is less than 7, which is true actually. And then we can look at b. So b is now y is equal to 7 minus 5x minus 3x squared. So here they want us to just complete the square in other terms whenever you see that form. So let me write it in the form, in the order of powers. So negative 3x squared minus 5x plus 7. Computing the square, we always have to have, as you can see, x is positive. So let's factor out negative 3 so that we can remain with a positive aspect of it. So negative 3. What is going to remain in the brackets? We're going to remain with x squared. Negative 5 becomes positive 5 over 3x. In other terms, it's like whenever you factor out something, it's like you're dividing throughout by the same, for any information. So, and then 7 gives us negative 7 over 3. Okay? So that's us factorizing out negative 3. So what has remained? Let's support what has remained. So we have remained with x squared plus 5 over 3x minus 7 over 3, which I can take on the other side to just become positive, right? So make sure we're on the same point. So let's take this on the other side, so it becomes positive 7 over 3. So to complete the square, what's the half of the coefficient of bx? The coefficient of x, 5 over 3. So divide by 2. Dividing by 2 is as good as multiplying by half. That's a faster way of dividing fractions. So we're going to have 5 over 6 as half. So we add the square on both sides. So we remain with x plus 5 over 6 squared equal to 7 over 3 plus 25 over 36. So we have a fraction there. Common denominator 36. 3 into 36 is how many times? That should be 12. 12 times 7, that's 84, plus 25. 84 plus 25 is 109. So we have 109 over 36. We can have it back on the left hand side. So it becomes negative. (109) over 36 equal to 0. Now let's not forget that when we started, we factored out a negative 3. So let's bring it back. So we can bring it back, and then we need to distribute it. So distribute it to that part. We're going to have negative 3, and then in the brackets x plus 5 over 6 squared, and then times that is going to be positive. Now 3 into 36 is 12, so we are going to have 109 over 12, because you can divide that into that, and then equal to 0. So we've distributed the negative 3. Now the question was asking us to write it in the form of a minus that. So meaning that you start with a constant. The constant is 109 over 12, and then minus 3x plus 5 over 6 to the power 2. So we have it in that form. And so otherwise write the coordinates of the turning point of y. So y is just that. In case they want the full coordinates, the x coordinate is equal to whatever is there to a negative, to 0 that is. So x becomes negative 5 over 6. For the y, it's just 109 over 12. So if you want the full coordinates for a turning point, it's negative 5 over 6, 109 over 12.